these are we're your hosts of this reoccurring weekly live stream, and where we talk about Jellypod, everything we've built in the last week, what we're building, what we're looking forward to. We'll demo some new things, and we'll talk about like upcoming stuff. So if it's your first time here, thanks for joining us. And with a lot of really cool things to showcase today, last week and the previous weeks were really packed full of new product features and announcements. So thanks everybody for being here. And if you're watching this somewhere, say hi in the chat. A lot of familiar faces oftentimes here. So
Yeah,
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 cool.
yeah. We've been like, hitting the new year, with the energy and
Yeah.
of course. So
New year, new energy. A lot of
yeah,
cool stuff.
a
We
lot of cool
just
stuff.
kicked off some Google campaigns too, which is really cool. So we'll hopefully see a lot of new users coming in
Yeah,
over the coming weeks.
definitely.
So,
And I know we added a referral program, right? So
mhm.
if any of you guys, if you have friends or you know anyone, who you think would like Jellypod, you can use the referral link and you'll get
Totally.
500 credits or
Yeah, 500 credits.
500.
Yeah, we'll jump into that too. I wanted to first, so like Noel, one of our frequent visitors here, small business cybersecurity guy. He has his podcast that gets now. No, I don't know the total stats. I know you were at like 75,000 monthly listeners on your Jellypod created podcast. But I know he pinged me about he's competing on the Pod Radar this week on his new episode, Boards, Breaches, and Accountability, Why Small Firms Need Risk Registers Now. So I wanted to post this in the chat for anybody who wanted to, support his podcast. Go out there, vote for it. It helps him climb the rankings on the Pod Radar. So go
Wow,
check that out.
that's awesome. So this is like product hunt for podcasts. Like,
I guess so. Yeah, that's
that's
cool.
nice.
We could build our own. Why don't we just like build our own product hunt for podcasting?
Oh
Like
yeah,
we,
we do have an explore page, which
we do.
I think it's a cool way to find Jellypod podcast. But yeah, we should definitely give it more love and visibility.
Oh, totally. Well,
Wow,
so
3.5 thousand, $3,500 message or a month. It's
3.5K a day.
a day, a
There we
day.
go.
Wow,
3,500 listeners a day. So,
that's crazy.
people listen to podcasts. So get creating, everybody. Um, Sweet. So I want to share my screen. I want to talk a little bit about that referral program first, and then everything else that we launched over the last, few weeks. Anyone's in the chat and want to make sure that this looks good, let me know. It should, but I know we have issues in the past. Let me know on the layout. But yeah, so Bilal just mentioned this referral program. So down here in the bottom left, really clearly, big, bright and center, share Jellypod with friends and get 500 credits. Um, Click on this. Everybody has a unique invitation link, which you can copy and send to a friend, or you can enter your friend's email address and send them a link directly, and that person will get a email from Jellypod saying, "Hey, Pearson invites you to try Jellypod. Use this link to sign up and get an additional 500 credits." And yeah, this is just a way for you to, you know, share Jellypod with friends, get free credits. They'll get free credits too. Um, yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, nice. No, it's great. I hope you guys utilize this. I think it's a great way to get yourself some credits and get your friends into Jellypod. Uh, the more the merrier, as we say.
Right, totally. Maybe this will be better. I got a comment. Let's see, maybe this,
Yeah.
we'll do a single picture in picture, I think. I don't know, maybe is that better or worse now? I can't tell, no. But we'll just go to not available, share media. Oh, I guess we'll just do this.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so referrals. Last week we talked about a few things, rich text descriptions. So if you want to add show notes to your podcast episodes or your podcast description itself, all podcasts now can support that. So if you go to your podcast, you click edit podcast, you can now add links, bolded text, anything you want in the description. And this will be supported on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. So you can actually add links to show notes and like whatever to help, you know, grow your podcast for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Small but powerful feature.
Small and powerful, but
Yeah.
very cool. Episodes support that too. That feature came directly from a user, Josh, I think, if I remember, in the chat directly. So this is the time if you have a feature or suggestion, leave it here. And new button on the home screen, right top right hand corner, feedback. So if you're creating anything and you have an idea, you have a suggestion, you're frustrated, and you just want to submit some feedback, click on this button, write some feedback in. If you want to classify it as negative, positive, or whatever, do it. We'll do this automatically with AI too. But give us some feedback. Tell us how we're doing, what we can improve, what you'd like us to add to Jellypod, and this will go directly into our Slack. It'll ping us both, and we read it. We'll read every single one of them. So do this. It's a way to reach us, but don't use this as a way to get help. So if you need help, just click on the need help button in the bottom left-hand corner, and you can chat with us directly. So feedback's for feedback, help is for help. Anything here else? Cool. Okay, so the next thing, clip generator, I wanted to talk about that again. We talked about this last week, but if you didn't watch, we added the ability to make clips from your episodes. So, Bilal, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is like two separate things. So the clip generator, we added a free tool where you can go on podcast clip generator on the homepage and upload your audio and use one of our templates. And I think that's pretty cool. That's a great way to use Jellypod's templates for audio that's not just generated by Jellypod, and you can use it, for free as well. So if you're not a subscriber or anything, you can still use it. So please check it out. It's on the homepage. You're either in the footer or if you go to the navigation bar and there's a free tools link. And we have other cool free tools as well that you can check out.
So that's clip generator for like normal podcasts. If you want to try that out, AI. Where's
Yeah.
it? Not here.
It should be. Can you refresh? I don't know if you. Oh, it's not there because it's in my PR. So I haven't merged it,
Oh,
but you can find it in the navigation bar.
okay.
So,
Here we go.
so yeah, you can upload it. So that's one part of the clips. The other thing we did was and again, coming from a user, who requested this on a live stream, we have this clips feature. So if you go on clips, you can create clips out of podcasts, draft episodes of podcasts, but we couldn't do it once you publish a podcast, an episode, and now you can. Now, if your episode is published, you can create clip, and the way you do it is you can come here, you can go to the create clip, and you can search for your podcast, or just like select from like one of the recent ones, and this will take you to like this page where you can then play your podcast and find the clip that you
Hey
like.
everyone, welcome.
And you can either use the shortcuts I or O, which I like to do because I know exactly
Wait, wait,
at
wait,
what point to.
short, wait, wait, short clips? Sorry, I missed
No,
that.
so you can use the keyboard shortcuts I and O if you're just listening and you have a start and end point and you just want to select it then, or if you just want to manually input, you can also do that, um, and
All right,
change
cool.
that start. And basically, and once you like the clip, you just preview the clip or and give it a title, or and save it, and it'll be um, saved just like your draft, one of your draft clips, um, in in the main clips thing. One thing to just go quickly call out: the preview is an estimate, so you might see some. It might not line up exactly with your timing, but when you save it, it'll be more accurate. So don't worry if it's a few seconds off when you preview it.
Sweet, sweet,
And
cool.
and it'll, once it's ready,
And then
you'll
a
have it
second.
there. Um, And because this is unlike the draft episode flow, because this is a published clip, like if you publish it in a certain aspect ratio and template, you can't really change that because that's a published episode. If you want more control, you would probably want to unpublish and go into the draft stage and change and tweak the underlying template before you create
Right.
clips.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah,
So, cool. If you want to, so this is just a way to snip a existing episode without much customizability, but just snip it down to a short, perfect for social media.
yeah,
Um, so, but if you want to control the episode and how it looks, just go to the episode itself.
yeah. And you can also do this in the published episode as well. There's a new clip, create clips button there, which will just take you back to this page. So
Right. So, perfect. Okay, cool. So if you go here, you can create.
yeah, you can just select one of the episodes. Just, you can I guess we should add it in the drop down too. That's a good call. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
create clip.
yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Very
So,
cool. So that will take this there, and just you can cool. So you can clip your episodes and share them to social media. So do that if you haven't so far.
yeah, yeah,
Amazing. Um, that was so a lot. That was a lot of recaps from last week. And if you didn't watch last week's, go watch that one as well. But now let's talk about the stuff that we released this past week. I mean, this week. So we talked about referrals. That was cool. The next one I want to show is just for everybody out there. If you want, um, we added a tutorial walkthrough. It's very quick. It takes about 30 seconds. So everybody, if you've signed in today, you probably got it because we made it like default for everybody. You'll see it once. But if you didn't, um, if you click on your name in the bottom left and you click Restart Onboarding Tour, you will um, and you take a look at that. But you'll get a tour here where it just shows you basically like what this interface is and how to use Jellypod. So it says Welcome to Jellypod. You can create a podcast series here. You can go further with clips, analytics, and pronunciations. We'll talk about docs in a second and writing styles. You can go to manage your hosts. And here's like where you can create your content. That ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude like familiar area. And that's where you start, kick off everything. And that's it. So that's like the onboarding. But one of the things that I just mentioned that I want to talk about is docs. So docs is a new feature, completely new, that broadens what Jellypod's capable of doing. So, we've been the AI podcast studio. We're enabling people to create AI podcasts. Docs is a new way to be able to create AI generated content with taste, much better than Claude or Gemini can. Um, so what actually Docs is if you go here and you click write a blog or write a LinkedIn post, you can create a piece of content, written content that you can then post anywhere. So I might want to just take a transcript from an old podcast episode that Bilal and I did. Check out Creative Flux on Spotify if you haven't watched it already. And so I have this podcast transcript. I want to create a LinkedIn post about it. I can just click go. And what happens here is actually we get this new writer docs editor interface. It's a familiar interface. We have your sources, just like you have for podcasts. You have an AI writer on the right-hand side who's going to actually ask you questions. It's going to dig in about, hey, what do you actually want to write for your LinkedIn post? So let's just say 2026 predictions, generative media, and it'll just do some investigation. It can go search on the internet, and I've never seen a bug like this before, but very interesting.
Yeah, when it thinks it just goes all over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
But
I really like the way we, you can just like for you start with chatting and not, and you can like kind of personalize and to, fine tune what you want before it starts actually writing. And we
right,
didn't mention it yet, but yeah, there's a writing style preset as well, which we'll talk about in a bit.
totally. So yeah, so this is the writer interface. You can write, docs here. It's going to plan first with you as a writing companion, as a partner. And then once you're ready to go, it will go and it will create content for you in the editor, which then you can iterate over with the writer assistant. Um, what Bilal just mentioned was writing styles. So you might have a brand voice, a certain way you want to create content. Maybe you have example content of your own LinkedIn posts that you want Jellypod Docs to kind of emulate or mimic. That's what writing styles does. So if you go into your writing styles, you can create a new style, name it LinkedIn post. You can give it external instructions about how you want your writing style, how you want the writer to talk, how you want it to write. Or you can give it examples. So if you have your LinkedIn posts, you can actually just copy and paste them right here or upload sources, and we'll actually understand, Jellypod will go in and understand your writing patterns and your speaking to this style, which then you can reuse and apply to all the written content. So it's very cool and it's very powerful. And we have a question in the chat that I'll get to in a second because it's a great question. But this is writing styles. You have to, actually give some information about it. But here's like my LinkedIn style here, polished conversational LinkedIn voice. We have like the whole style guidelines on what and how you're going to create. And you can just apply this to any sort of writing by clicking select style, click your style, LinkedIn, and now say rewrite this using the new style. And so I'll actually rewrite this using that new style. And it says using writing style LinkedIn. Maybe we can even do use headings and rich text. So this is pretty cool, I think. And you can now create written content with Jellypod. So yeah.
Very powerful.
But cool. Here's a question from small business cybersecurity guy. Can we tie the writing styles to the host? That's a great question. Well, can we do this?
Yeah. Well, it kind of ties to another thing, which is our personality. And for now, I think the way, just to answer the question directly, I think the way you would do it is you would just think of what the writing style of a certain host would be. You can name it like, your host, John's LinkedIn formal style, John's casual style. Yeah, right. I mean, that's how I would go about it. And the reason it's not directly tied to the host is because the host is so much more. I mean, the host has a personality, which is where which we now have, but that's more about how they talk and communicate and stuff. So we wanted to separate out the writing style from what the host is, just so it's not all convoluted. It's a little more complex if you try to fit everything into one persona, basically.
Right. So essentially, the goal here, I mean, tie writing styles to hosts. So we introduced a new thing called personalities on the hosts. So if you click on your host or when you're creating a host, you're going to be given a new option to upload what we call our reference materials. So this is just like writing styles, but this is for your host and how they speak and how they communicate. So if you're trying to, clone yourself, maybe you say things in a certain way. You like to really have cliffhangers, um, like any way that you speak. If you put and upload existing content into the reference materials here, we're going to actually go through and figure out what makes this writing, what makes this piece of content unique to you. How do you like to speak? And then we'll incorporate that speaking pattern, that personality into your podcast and into your host and how it communicates. So, um, this is reference materials. This influences your hosts and how they communicate in your podcasts. This doesn't replace your backstory. So if there are specific things, always update your backstory. Your backstory is kind of like your host bio, um, but the reference materials is your host personality. So upload blogs, upload existing transcripts of podcasts you've actually done, maybe other transcripts of content that you have the permission to upload here to emulate. Um,
Yeah, I think it's
and
particularly powerful if you have actual audio samples of you in podcasts and stuff, because you'll pick up the way you certain phrase things and stuff, and that will hopefully translate really well in you when you generate the podcast through that host.
Right.
Yeah, I think together with the voice cloning, our goal is to give you that moment where you're like, wow, I would have said it in exactly that voice in exactly that way when you're
Exactly.
explaining something.
Yeah, 100%. So it's super exciting, super powerful. Check out those new the personality references, and yeah.
Yeah.
So will this affect the current voices? I'm not entirely sure if, on this
I
if you
mean,
want
it
to clarify.
shouldn't impact the voices. It might update the way if you upload, and only if you upload any sources will any downstream effect happen, and that would just be probably in the script rather than the voice itself.
Yep.
Or-
Yeah, just update the script. Doesn't actually change the voice. They're kind of two different things. But yeah, if you upload new source materials, um,
yeah.
it
And
will
if you, by the way,
purely.
if you don't like it, you can always delete the sources or update it. And every time you change the sources, it basically reruns the process of coming up with a personality.
Right. Right. So you can update, edit those personalities, but very cool. And yeah, so I mean, one of the last things I just wanted to go over real quick, 'cause this is kind of new from last week, is just that we've centralized the creation interface here for everything that you're going to be able to create on Jellypod. So this looks pretty similar to what we had previously, but you might notice that we used to have like a host button and like your podcast selector here. Because we're expanding Jellypod's capabilities into a lot of different forms of content beyond just podcasting, making Jellypod like the best place to create, high quality, engaging content using AI and scaling your voice. We're going to have buttons here. And so if you want to create a podcast episode, click this button and then you'll go back and you'll see that familiar, hey, I can select the host that I want for this episode. I can turn on deep search. I can actually change the podcast series that I want to create the episode for. And then if I don't want to create the podcast episode, I want to create a blog post, I'll just click the buttons there. So yeah, that's that.
Very nice.
And you can see your credits in the
Yeah,
top right
and
hand
we're gonna
corner as well.
hopefully, yeah, and this is gonna be expanding very soon. We're gonna be adding more goodies and types of content here. So really, I mean, we haven't like officially said this, yeah, but you guys are, cool because you're, like joining on the live stream. But like, we wanna, Jellypod really. I mean, we've done like we heard so many cool things that you guys have been able to create using podcasts, and we really want to take that and leverage other forms of content. So like docs being like the first one, and hopefully others. But the idea is really that our thesis is that personalized the human AI content, but personalized with the human in the loop, and really that combination is what's gonna stand out, in at least in the short and medium term going forward. And so that's how you distinguish yourself in from the AI slopsware out there.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's super exciting. We're super excited for this. I know Mohammed has a question here. Can you upload reference materials of podcast personality you want to emulate? Do it. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
the only thing I guess my lawyerly advice just would like just if just don't try to mimic any person. This is. But if
you're
you're trying to get
inspired.
inspiration and stuff, I
Mm,
think that's a great actually idea. If there's people I follow who I'm like, oh, I wish I could like talk like speak like that. I mean, so that's actually a very interesting way you can like create like sort of a host that's based on the way they communicate, and then add your own touch to it.
right. Totally. Totally. Kind of just compress this down into high level sort of things. So it's not like you're going to be replicating entirely. It's just more of like the essence of the content you upload.
Right.
Is a good way to think about it. So upload examples of things that you like, and we'll use the essence of that um, for the
Exactly.
personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I know this was a little bit of a longer one, or than the last few weeks. There's a lot of cool stuff that we released. Um, if there's other questions, happy to answer them here before we log off. So
Yeah.
if you're watching on the stream, let us know.
Yeah, yeah, and by the way, just so in case nobody, you are charged credits for the docs generation. It's not a lot, but like just so in case if you go too crazy on it, like there's a slight deduction every time you generate content. So just so
Right.
you know, because we
And
just
just and
wanted
yeah,
in case anyone's abused the system,
no,
we had
no, that's a great call. Yeah, so it's one credit for 100 characters. So, and that's only 100 characters written to the editor. So, if you're like going back and forth with the writer in the planning phase, it's free. No credits are deducted there. So, like our goal is to really get you. We don't want to iterate on the output. We want to iterate on the plan first, so that we can actually create in one shot, hopefully, the best piece of content perfect. So that's why you saw that planner asking me, uh, what do you want your LinkedIn post to be about on your transcript, like based on your transcript, your podcast transcript. And then it asks you some questions, some clarifications, and we're just trying to get as much context as possible so that we can one shot and just, have a perfect sort of output there on the first try.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, well, I think that covered almost everything. If you're watching this and you stayed to the end, thank you. We do these every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Um, and yeah, leave some feedback. Remember, click that feedback button in the top right-hand corner. It goes straight into our Slack. And yeah, so we don't have direct posting. I saw a question come in. No direct posting yet. Just copy and paste it over. And yeah, so I think on that note, probably good to sign off.
Yeah. All right. Go, guys. Play around with the new tools and
The
let
new
us know
stuff.
how you feel. All right.
Yes. Okay.